Hello, my name is Pashupatinath. I'm the lineage authority of a very ancient school of yoga called Triloka Khada, which was established by the founder of yoga, Shankarnath, 17,000 years ago. One of the very ancient and most important sutras of yoga is the Ananda Sutra. In English, it goes something like this: the body and the universe are made up of parts. These parts are made up of particles. These particles are made up of mind. Mind is made up of purpose, and purpose is made up of joy, and you are joy. It may sound very esoteric, and it is, I guess, but it's not so difficult to understand, and this video is to help you understand it. Why would you want to understand it? Because if you do, then you'll realize that you are joy, and you don't have to look for it outside of you. You can create it whenever you want. I think it's really important to be joyful, don't you? But if you do, then this video is for you. The first part is easy to understand, that everything that we see is made up of its constituent parts, like my hand is made up of fingers. We also know from having invented microscopes that this is made up of further particles called cells. The cells are made up of molecules. Molecules are made up of atoms and so on. They're particles, but where do the particles come from and what are they made of? Here's where it gets esoteric. Yoga says that it's made up of mind. You say that every particle has two preferences. One behavior that it wants to move towards, and one behavior that it resists. Or a collection of behaviors that it resists, and a collection of behaviors that it moves towards. For example, take a steel rod. It bends. It's called elasticity. That's a certain behavior it has. But put it into water and it doesn't dissolve. It resists it. So it depends on how you position it. Every particle says yes or no to something. So we say that it's coming out of mind, and this is what mind is. This is how we understand mind. Not as something in the brain, but as something present in every particle, either saying yes or saying no with its behavior. Not in English, but it's saying yes and no in its behavior. It's going along with or it's resisting. It's accepting or it's resisting certain behavior or certain actions. In the same way, you also accept and resist certain thoughts. So you can consider thoughts as subtle objects, and you can consider objects as gross objects, physical objects as gross objects. All of these objects are coming forth with a mind already in it. So much so that they are the mind. They don't have an identity outside of this behavior. This is how we know them. We know them by their behavior. The entire periodic table is arranged by behavior. So, do we arrange people according to behavior in our minds? I store someone as a friend, as an enemy, someone I say yes to, someone I resist. All of this is in my mind. There are two mechanisms we need to understand, and that's called the Surya Laksha and the Chandra Laksha, which is further divided into Antar Laksha and Bahar Laksha, according to Gorakshanath. And what does this mean? When I think of something that I absolutely truly believe in, for example, the sun is going to rise tomorrow. I believe this with all my heart, with all my sincerity. I don't think that the sun is not going to rise tomorrow. It is. I have no doubt about it. So when you choose a statement like that, I feel it in my heart. I feel there are nerves firing off in my heart, making me feel warm about this, that the sun is going to rise tomorrow. I really believe it. You will also feel it, but not necessarily in the heart. Each person has different nerves firing off in different places when they think about something that they really truly strongly believe in, or that they will move towards, that they will say yes to. So this is your agreeable behavior, and this is called the Surya Lakshya, further divided into Antar Lakshya, which is inside. Now the same Lakshya is also outside. When I close my eyes and I think the sun will rise tomorrow, I'm forced to look up here, because this is where I see the visual. Maybe 3 feet above my face. And it's huge. You would also see this. Now, pause the video a moment and find your Lakshyas. Where are they? You know where they are. Inside and outside. Find them with a statement that you truly strongly believe in, and test it with some other statement. For example, I am a human being is something that I believe very strongly, yes. So when I say that, I feel that also in my heart, in the same place. And if I close my eyes and say the statement, I feel like looking up here to make that image, which is right there. So right there are the behaviors that I will say yes to. This is the storage of my sincerity, my storehouse of my sincerity. Now, how can you use this to know whether you're sincere about something or not before you make promises? Before you go and tell somebody, oh, I'm going to do this or I'm going to do that, or before you make statements to yourself, I'm going to lose weight, I'm going to learn yoga, whatever. Before you make these statements, check and see if it's falling inside the Lakshyas. If it's falling inside the Lakshyas, you will do it. Otherwise, you won't. Otherwise, something or the other is going to happen. Different particles are going to get created which behave in different ways. Your entire body's constitution is going to change when you're not sincere about something. You just waste your time, you age, you end up resisting it instead of going along with it, instead of saying yes. You get married and then you resist that marriage. You get into a relationship and you resist that relationship. You find a job and then you resist that job. That's how you lose joy. By resisting things. Okay, so what about the resisting location? This is called the Chandra Lakshya or the Moon Lakshya. Surya Lakshya means Sun Lakshya. And this can be found also inside your body and outside your body. So there's an Antar Chandra Lakshya and a Bahir Chandra Lakshya. Let me think of something that I believe is absolute bullshit that I will resist. For example, I don't believe that education has much of a value now that we have the internet and then we have information and access to mentors and whatever. It's something I strongly believe in, which is why I do e-learning courses. So when I think about this, I feel it in my feet. And when I close my eyes and think about it, where do I see it as a visual? I feel that the visual is somewhere behind me. I don't even want to look at it, it's behind me. This is what they mean when they say, I have put things behind me. This is what they exactly mean. So, what can you do? When you think about something and it's already behind you, you're not going to act on it. So if you want to forget something, you want to get rid of certain thoughts, or if you want to resist something, which you might want to, because society gives you a whole lot of information, a whole lot of rules to live your life by, and you might want to resist them. You've got to put them in a bullshit location, right? What else is bullshit? I'm a dog. If I say I'm a dog, I don't believe it. But I feel that, again, in the same place, in my feet, and the visual seems to have slipped behind me. I can't even make it. So can you find the location? The location for me is about 8 or 9 feet behind me. This is where I put bullshit information. You will too. Find these 2 locations. These are very, very important for you. And start to categorize and sort things into the appropriate location. Just put them in the right box. Are you going to put it in the bullshit box? Now you know where they are inside and outside you. Or are you going to put it in the strong belief box on which you're going to act upon, the yes box and the no box? Think of it like that. And it's both inside and outside you. It just goes and sits there, and you'll know where you stand. And then you can judge yourself. Don't be afraid to call yourself stupid when you resist something good. Don't be afraid to call yourself intelligent when you say yes to something great. Now you have an absolute way to check whether you're actually being stupid or intelligent. How beautiful is that? I use this all the time to know my sincerity, to know who I am, because I am defined by my behavior. How do I want to behave? It's very important. Especially for a yogi, you have to know this. You have to be in complete control of your behavior, and you need to have patience with other people who don't know this and be able to teach them and ask them to find their sincerity. Now you have the method. Okay? So this whole video was how to use the Ananda Sutra to find your sincerity. I'll be back to elucidate the Ananda Sutra more. But chew upon this. This is not a small piece of information that you can swallow and then get it. You'll need to watch this video several times until it goes deeply into your soul and you understand it and you start applying it, and then there will be a day where you have lived that day with complete sincerity, only saying yes to everything that came, or only having things that you say yes to in your life. That will be a glorious day where you will feel automatically happy. You don't have to struggle for it. You will feel happy. Just don't say yes to things that you want to say no to, and don't say no to things that you want to say yes to, and you will be happy. It's as simple as that. This is the promise of Gorakshnath. This is my promise. Practice hard.